This is surprisingly light for its size. Welcome, everybody. Josh RV Nerd, Bish's RV, down here at Keystone, checking out this new 310 Bullet. This is a member of their Premier series. Basically, this is mostly where all the bed slide bullets come in. This is the step before you actually get fully to a Cougar. It has a lot of very similar qualities right here, but it doesn't have quite all the widgets and whiz bangs and widgets. Maybe you don't need all that, but you're like, man, I want a big trailer. Like, you certainly could tow it, but I look at this and I'm like, man, if you're going to mostly leave this thing parked or mostly use it as a seasonal type rig or a snowbird, sunbird, where, yeah, maybe you have a long trip, but then you spend a really long time when you get there, this is a good fit because we get a fifth wheel style floor plan with those opposing super slides, all the cross breeze window. Well, they're all cross breeze windows, but the window coverage on the camp side of the RV is very, very nice. The bedroom, though, has a full east-west like RV king bed slide with full front nose closet. Now, the bottom section of the closet is blocked off because they maintained a traditional travel trailer outdoor pass-through, which I actually think is a really good idea. So many travel trailers that have front closets lack any pass-through storage, and I think that's a really big mistake not having that outdoor capacity. It is prepped and ready for a combo washer dryer instead of stackable as a result. Most people don't tend to use that, but at least that opportunity is there. The barreled ceiling in this will also help with the headroom in the shower a little bit. I'll test that out for you in a little while here. The belly of this is enclosed. It is forced air heated. This is also riding on a Norco chassis, not a traditional Lippert I-beam frame. And like anything, it has some good qualities, and it has some things that you might not like. Heck, it's got some things that I don't necessarily like, but I'm going to go through. I'm going to try to peel this onion apart layer by layer and let you decide if it's the right one for you or not. And if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. Let's go. Now, in my experience in the RV industry, unless an RV brand absolutely loses its hat, it usually runs a decor at least 2 years. Bullet adopted this last year, and it was a nice departure from seeing the traditional farmhouse or sometimes the gray tones that were coming in. The olive kind of earth tones there, I just like that it's a little bit different. I will tell you, the sofa colors, there's something about brown leatherette sofas on my camera. It doesn't see them right. The sofa doesn't look quite as out of place in person as it does on camera here, so keep that in mind. A lot of brands very quickly adopted these Tron lights. I've noticed a lot of brands starting to move away from them as well, which I kind of find interesting. This is by default, if I'm not mistaken, a single 15,000 BTU air conditioner with an optional second air up in the bedroom. I can't personally imagine an RV this size without a second air conditioner, even in a Michigan climate. It was really funny. I have no idea when this footage is going to release, but at the time that I'm recording this, 2 or 3 days ago, I was in Alabama celebrating the grand opening of our new store in Calera, Alabama. It's kind of nice to be a little bit closer to the southeast there. But folks kept asking, hey, Michigan boy, how you handling the heat? It was actually 10 degrees hotter in Michigan. I don't think people realize Michigan is not a permanent Arctic tundra. Michigan gets all of the weather. It doesn't stay as hot as long, but it will get as hot or as cold in Michigan as nearly anywhere. It just doesn't stay there as long. But that's why if you watch my videos, you're like, why is he wearing 8 layers? Because that's called Michigan survival technique. That's how you don't die in Michigan weather. You don't care. Maximum campsite window coverage, all hardwood framed in, by the way, which is a little bit uncommon. You saw on our floor plan in a flash, that is a wall-hugging theater recliner with fold-down armrest and even storage in the side armrest and then a bonus storage between the two kick-out incliners. Now, both sides of the Super Slide have some USB plugs kind of tucked back into that corner. And then both sides of the hide-a-bed sleeper sofa that we also got a quick look at have household and USB outlets as well. I wish these outlets were located a little bit higher. Personally, I think that would be kind of nice. And even that sofa has storage in the armrest. They just really don't waste an opportunity for it. All of your windows here that we're seeing in the living room are breeze windows. And because they have that fully hardwood boxed framing around the window, will completely block the light out if you really don't want to. It'll look like the arrows of the Persian army blotting out the sun, attempting to murder King Leonidas, if you remember 300. Backing up here. 50-inch smart TV straight across from you. I don't have the camera. Actually, it's slightly below my eye level now that I look at it. It is very, very easy to see. We also have our space heating fireplace. That TV can pivot around if you want to be able to view it from the rear sofa. This is a little bit of a toe kick kitchen slide, though. There's going to be some subtle, but I think significant differences between like this and the Cougar version of this floor plan. I believe it's called a 33 RLI. Like this is using what was I going to say? Oh yeah, toe stubber kitchen slide, whereas the Cougar version is going to be floor flush slides. There's just little differences like that. But Bullet gets its licks in interesting ways as well. What's actually kind of surprising here, up in the Bullet Premium series, they do a couple things even Cougar doesn't do with solid surface countertops. And you think, well, why would Keystone do that? Keystone doesn't exactly have a direct hierarchy. They have a rough hierarchy, but each brand has its own brand manager. So the kitchen in a Bullet Premium, which is what we're in, has solid surface kitchen counters. Cougars, you don't get that till you get up in their big fifth wheels. Now, when you see the power outlets with the yellow stickers, that's telling you they're inverter prepped. This is made for something up to a 2,000 watt inverter. What is your take here? They didn't have enough space in that slide out to center the stove and still give you drawers. So they had to shove the stove one side or the other. Personally, I think they should have gone the other way. I personally feel like the stovetop should have been against the left side. I do appreciate that they gave us some power outlets over there at an easy reach level. But when most individuals are right-handed, when you stir stuff, I think you have a tendency to set it down on the right side of the stove. It just feels inverse of what would make sense to me. But if you notice, you have a propane oven and an electric oven. This is an air fryer, convection, and microwave 3-in-1. A lot of manufacturers will give you this only if they don't give you a propane oven. So there's a lot of areas like that where I say that Bullet is doing and instead of or. That's one of the first areas where you'll encounter that. Now, I don't know if it was intentional or not. And it's not really even showing this way on camera because my camera likes to brighten up dark spaces. But this area over here feels a little dark to me. I think because these pendant lights up here, they don't cast light over in that direction. They cast light straight down toward the island. So the island, the prep space is very well lit. But that feels a little dim over there to me. Then again, feeling dim, I got used to that in about the first grade. Over here in the slide, you are obviously looking at the optional table and chairs versus a conventional booth. Easy viewing of your campsite instead of the neighbors. There is a full privacy shade in the entry door window, by the way, not just prep. And this is not a twist and shout, pivot about kind of dining table, but it is an absolute no knee knocking table, baby. So clumsy oaf like me won't constantly have fresh bruises all over the place. My poor daughter inherited that trait from me. We'll be tucking her in at night. We look down like, oh, okay, what's this new bruise on your leg? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I don't know where mine come from either. Actually, now that I look at it, I've got a gash on my left shin that I don't know where that came from. When I make a lot of these videos, I just tend to smash myself with cabinets and things all the time. This space under the sink is pretty darn big. It almost looks like it could be dishwasher space, but they don't exactly prep it for that. It's not necessarily impossible in many cases, not all the time, but in many cases to upfit an RV with an RV dishwasher, even if it's not, quote, specifically prepped from the factory. So kind of keep that in mind. I also do want to point out, even though it was a little dark in that area, they actually do build in some lighting in that pantry. So that does help. They are maintaining a 10 cubic foot, 12 volt fridge freezer. I want to mention that because we're in a market cycle where there's a lot of pricing pressure, more than I think I've ever seen in my career. And a lot of manufacturers are making some tough calls, like shrinking the refrigerators slightly, resuming 8 cubic foot fridges instead of 10, little decisions like that. So Bullet keeping the same size fridge, giving you, the double cooking methodology right there. That's extra dollars on the price tag, but it's also something I don't think you're going to regret owning. Like, you might regret not having it. I don't think you're going to regret actually having it. And That TV can obviously pivot around where if you just want to lounge on the rear sofa, you got a nice little spot for it here. I actually like how these um, armrests in this rear hide-a-bed sofa have cup holders. That's kind of a nice touch, even though you got the big side stands beside you. Moving on from here. Yeah. I'm eyeballing this, but I'm 99% sure that converter is going to be totally blocked by the slide out when you close it. Another thing I've noticed here, I think it looks very cool, but the door hardware on these handles, it feels like a socket, like a socket wrench. And I'm not saying it's going to tear your hand up, but it does feel a little aggressive. I don't know, sometimes. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, going on from there, you might notice that we do not have a peekaboo I smell you bathroom door. Oops, they had a little whoopsie on that transition tape right there, didn't they? If I see something, I say something. I want you to have the real deal of Vander Holyfield and what we're looking at here. Solid linen space in this, though. Like, you don't need more than that. Like, that's good space for towels, linens, all that. Towels are linens. You know what I mean. Toiletries. I'm stupid. Speaking of toilets, if they grew on trees, they'd be toilet trees. Anyway, here's the space around the toilet with my stupid jokes. God, my jokes are stupid. I make my own eyes roll back in my head like a Vegas slot machine sometimes, by the way. The heat vent in the bathroom, you can see snakes through the shower floor. Now, the trick with that is it does mean that raises the shower floor a little bit. But what I noticed, even with my shoes on, I'm a little over 6 foot tall. I was still able to stand in that shower, even lean my head kind of over toward the sidewall and not have it be a problem. The reason I want to mention that is this RV has a traditional 6.5 foot sidewall height, but it barrels up 5 or 6 inches. That little triangular shape right there is a very good example, very easy visual for that. You do have a sliding pocket door here. And as we come up into the bedroom, might as well talk about this since I left the door open, didn't mean to. The fact that we have the either mega dresser, because these are adjustable shelves. So if you're like, that, why is that shelf so low? You can put it wherever you want. But I got it out of the way so you could more easily see the washer dryer hookups in here. But once again, I do appreciate the little detail how they include a couple lights up in there. Come on. All right, there we go. I didn't want to slam that. Drives me crazy. I don't watch a lot of RV videos. I don't even watch my own videos, but I watched a couple, and good God, people just smash the cabinetry around. It's unpleasant and it's rude. It just bangs other people's stuff around. Now, you don't see, like, it feels like they wasted closet dresser space here, but that's because that's a full front pass-through compartment. I'm actually really glad they did what they did. This section over here is just hanging space. As long as we're looking up high, I do want to point out, once again, you can get this with a second air conditioner. I couldn't imagine trying to keep this amount of cubic foot of space cool on a single air in today's world. I just don't think that would turn out too well. Most of your bullets have a 60 by 80 true queen bed. When you get into these bed slide models, you start to pick up these kind of 70 by 80 RV kings right here. Although they have the Cyclops window that does open for airflow above the bed and the side breeze windows. And this over here does not have doors to enclose it because it would potentially fight with the slide fascia. I would probably put some kind of netting or one of those little tension rods or something on there for transit, just to make sure anything back there doesn't accidentally get caught behind the slide out. Because if that happens, oh man, it starts to be a pain very quickly. Now, I got a feeling, speaking of very quickly, we're very quickly going to wrap up road mode by saying it sucks. Yep, because unless you open a slide, you can basically get to two things. You can get to the control panel to open a slide. I'm going to move you slowly. You can get to the bathroom. So, that's not awesome, but it is what it is. I just hope you appreciate that. Even though it's not sunshine and rainbows, we'll still take the time to show that so you know what's real. Now, despite this thing being light for its size, considering its length and the fact that it's a big triple slide unit, it is lightweight. That being said, I still don't want this paired up with a half ton. The length and the weight too much. There's a wicked echo in here, and I keep hearing myself. It sounds like old Yankee Stadium when they didn't have synchronized speakers. Fun, interesting little fact. You know what? I'm gonna withhold my tangent today. Sorry, I was about to go way off, and it's gonna be a 5-minute story that has nothing to do with camping. I do that too much, and I know some people like it, but I'm gonna focus up a little bit today. Serious Tron lightsaber lights on the nose here. Now that being said, they look really cool. I don't know that they're actually that functional unless you're boondocking in the middle of nowhere. The only thing those lights are going to be good for is cheesing off the neighbors. That's just lights and speakers are the two most common RV complaints in parks, and the speakers on this one I don't like. They're up way darn too high. I don't even care how they sound. I'm probably not going to use them. I'm probably going to use like a portable Bluetooth speaker myself, but hey, there you go. The blue sticker under the propane tanks is telling us that this is a Norco chassis, not your traditional Lippert I-beam frame. And again, they did maintain a full front pass-through. Now, you do lose a chunk of it because on the opposite side, we have an enclosed docking center, which if we do a David Blaine Scorpion teleport for the Mortal Kombat fans, there you go. It's a simple docking center, but I mean, that's where your water stuff hooks up, you know. Over here, you've got your Victron MPPT charge controller. It's a 30 amp unit. You also have a separate, like on the front, we have a Gigi box, which is a serious battery disconnect. The red switch in there is a solar disconnect. That will disconnect the solar panel from the charge controller. There are some times you want to do that, and that is a serious indication that Keystone is more concerned about the longevity of this RV's components and not making sure it holds together just under warranty. Now, the storage under the bed here, I've noticed if you can kind of peek through and see inside, so keep in mind that's not exactly bug-proof right there. You do have 220 watts of solar up on the roof. It's easy to miss because it's black on black. There is a portable solar plug, side mount plug over there. And you might think, why would I want 2 sets of solar? Well, the charge controller right now can accept probably another solar panel pretty easily. If you wanted more than that, if you didn't want to have to do a lot of custom wiring, or if you wanted to park in the shade and chase the sun, there's that Gigi box, by the way, then you could use that portable panel system. Now, the portables and the roof panel stuff, they all play nice with one another, so don't worry about that. This does have 4-corner power stabilizers, factory standard. If you want auto leveling, you will need to step up to a Cougar. Even there, it's optional. Dual power awnings, there's a gas grill quick connect just below the front awning arm. The belly of this is enclosed. It is forced air heated. This has a reasonable extended season weather package. I feel pretty confidently this is not necessarily 0 to 100 degree proven, because Keystone's one of the only RV manufacturers that actually does have their own temperature chamber, and they tend to test a lot of their campers. So they have the capacity to test this. If they haven't, it tells me it's, well, if they haven't broadcasted, it's probably not 100 degree or 0 degree capable. Window coverage, right where you want it, on the campside. It's tinted. Now, when the lights are on, you can still see in, but remember, you can always pull down the blackout shades, and maximum airflow on these. And over here, we have ourselves not only just a bumper, but also a 2-inch rear receiver hitch. One thing I have noticed, though, this RV is not perfectly level, but that hitch is hanging down a little bit low for my taste, and this RV is quite long. So if you have a driveway that has like a steep incline from the road to the drive, like a rough transition, keep that in mind. You might, and you don't want your camper looking like a dog scraping its butt on the carpet. Kind of reminds me of the hotel I was in this past weekend. If I'd had my dog with me, if he'd have jumped off the bed and scraped his butt on the carpet, I probably would have had to get up and wash his butt. Gross. Place is gross. So thank you again for tuning in, everybody. Check the links in the description to see where we have one of these parked. And if we have one in stock, we'll have pricing listed right on our site for you. If we happen to be sold out, call our team. We'll take care of you. And remember, our price tags are like real price tags. We don't have hidden dealer fees. We don't have the prep charges. We don't have the... we don't charge you to show you how it works. It doesn't even matter if you buy a used RV. We still show you how it works at Bish's. Not to mention, you get the automatically 1-year Bish fix. Sorry, it's called RV fix now. It's always going to be Bish fix in my head. But also, especially handy if you live in the northern climates, we'll winterize your RV for you every year at no cost. What's winterization cost? A couple $100? What if you have your camper 10 years? We just saved you $2,000 by just doing what we do. So we want to take care of our people. And if that means this isn't the right one for you, check out something else we have and know that we'll shoot you straight there. And when you're ready, we're ready. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.